Okay, it's 4:30, so we're going to get started. Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Rodriguez, Superintendent of Meadows Union School District. We have with us our principal, Mrs. Hernandez, and our child nutrition manager, Mrs. Diaz. We'll begin this webinar shortly. I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of housekeeping. Just to confirm, we're just making sure that this is not like a normal Zoom meeting. We're having a webinar style so that we're able to record this and post it on the website as soon as we finish. For those that are not attending, we will be doing English and Spanish version to make sure that it reaches all of our community and all of our parents. So please bear with us, and we'll be starting pretty soon. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Kayla Rodríguez, está nuestra directora, la señora Hernández y Ms. Díaz, encargada de nutrición, y vamos a empezar en esta representación va a ser en inglés y en español y va a ser en estilo de conferencia para que sea grabada y puesta en la página de internet y así no salgan más que las caras de nosotros por privacidad. Y durante el proceso de la presentación, si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden usar el chat box y ponerla ahí, escribirla. Al final de la presentación vamos a hablar sobre todas las preguntas que tengan y contestarlas a la mejor manera posible. I forgot to say that we do want you to have any questions that you have. If you please put them on the chat box, and we will be doing a Q&A section at the end of the presentation. So please bear with us, be patient, and we appreciate you all for being here. Ms. Hernandez?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. For those of you that are participating with us, we had the opportunity to run this informational webinar this morning as well. So happy that we have parents attending to gather all the information as we get ready for the return of our Meadows Nights. Our students will be returning on campus on Monday, April 12th. And we're very excited and looking forward to all of their return. I wanted to share with you all the saying, all hands on deck. We have really taken this as our motto as we have had our staff back on campus as we've been meeting to prepare for our reopening, because we need everyone on our Meadows team to make this a success. And that everyone includes you parents at home and all of you who are helping us to bring these students back on campus. So we really need to have this motto as we go through the presentation, keeping this in mind, that we need your support, we need your help as we're going to be implementing new procedures and new processes to be in a safe environment.
Parte de la presentación es que por favor les pedimos a todos los padres y los que están aquí presentes que tomen en cuenta que son procesos nuevos, son cosas nuevas que estamos poniendo en diferentes sistemas en todo el distrito, todo lo que es la escuela. Y pues el tema es que son todas las manos a bordo, todas las manos a bordo como equipo, como entre padres, staff, los maestros y el resto de los empleados en la escuela de Meadows, para que podamos tener una transición sana, saludable y que siga las medidas de seguridad necesarias para poder implementar apertura que es de alguna manera es pues bastante diferente. Entonces queremos que por favor nos tengan paciencia y sean parte de este equipo.
What have we been working on? Some of the things we'll be touching upon today is that everything that we've touched has been with procedures with safety in mind. We will be discussing the school schedule. We will be looking at blended learning and hybrid learning. We will be looking at classroom setup, recess guidelines, arrival and dismissal guidelines, transportation procedures and schedules, child nutrition for grab-and-go meals, and just really to put out the message that things are going to look very different because we want our students and our staff to return to a safe school.
Antes que nada queremos reiterar y asegurarles que todo el proceso de lo que es planear esta reapertura ha sido con la mentalidad más que nada de tener esta reapertura sana, saludable y siguiendo todas las medidas de seguridad que son implementadas por el condado y el Departamento de Educación. Entonces, los horarios, la manera de instrucción, de aprendizaje, ya sea en persona o a distancia, todas esas medidas que hemos hecho, todo el planeamiento que se ha tomado, que se ha dado lugar, ha sido con la mentalidad de la seguridad de todos, incluyendo los empleados, tanto los empleados como los estudiantes.
So the first thing I wanted to share is our in-school schedule for students who are returning back on campus. You're going to notice a differentiated type of schedule and staggered start times. We have our TK through third grade students who will begin their school day at 8:20 in the morning, and they will end their day at 11:35. We have fourth through eighth grade on a different start time. Their start time is 8:30 in the morning, and their end time is 12:40 in the afternoon.
Los horarios que ahorita se están poniendo se están dando a lugar, ha sido demasiado trabajo, tanto del staff de la oficina como los maestros, como la directora, nosotros. El planeamiento ha sido, como les vuelvo a reiterar, ha sido con la seguridad de los estudiantes y del staff necesarios. Se han hecho los horarios a diferentes tiempos para tener diferentes maneras y diferentes lugares en los que los estudiantes van a entrar a la escuela. Y asimismo tener los recesos a diferentes tiempos, diferentes horarios y diferentes lugares para seguir con esa sana distancia y las medidas de seguridad, al igual el horario para salir de escuela, y porque todo eso implica que tengamos que planear tanto transporte como hermanos que son de diferentes grados, y todo eso se ha tomado en consideración. Y sí les pedimos un poquito de paciencia porque la primera semana va a ser muy importante, porque es donde vamos a notar si hemos planeado todo bien o si hay cosas que han salido a relucir que tenemos que reorganizar de nuevo.
In addition to that, I wanted to share the dates that each grade level span will be attending school. It will look different for grade levels because we remember that we're bringing students on campus with safety measures in line, which has not allotted for us to have the opportunity to have every single student on campus at the same time. For TK through third grade, they will be attending school Monday through Friday. They are the only grade levels that have the opportunity to be on site every single day. Then we have fourth grade, who looks a little bit different. Fourth grade students, all the students that are attending in person will be in class Monday through Thursday. If you notice Friday, you see it in the black box, it says distance learning. That's because all students, all the ones that are still at home with distance learning and all the ones that are in school in person will be at home Zooming in with their teacher for their instructional day. Then we have fifth through eighth grade. Fifth through eighth grade will be in two cohorts. We will have cohort A, which is students that will report on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you look at that table, you can see the light blue is cohort A. And then we have cohort B that will be attending school Tuesdays and Thursdays. That leaves us with Fridays. Both cohorts will be attending their class via distance learning, via Zoom, just like they are now during distance learning. On the days that a cohort is not on campus, they will be having an opportunity to have Zoom time with their teacher, and they will be working on synchronous and asynchronous assignments on the days that they're not on campus.
Esta gráfica les enseña las diferentes maneras en las que el aprendizaje en persona y a distancia se van a dar. Todo se tuvo que tomar en consideración, especialmente el número de alumnos por grado. Entonces, aquí si se fijan de TK a tercero, el número de estudiantes que las familias escogieron llevarlos a la escuela o que asistieran a la escuela en persona, por el número que tenemos, ha sido posible tenerlos a todos en el salón de clase con la maestra de lunes a viernes en persona. Y los estudiantes que estén a distancia también van a estar conectándose por medio de Zoom. Ahorita les vamos a explicar cómo va a ser el modelo de aprendizaje, pero sí se va a poder de lunes a viernes por el número de alumnos que hay entre TK a tercero. En el cuarto grado va a ser un poquito diferente. Al igual, por el número de alumnos que han escogido estar en persona, va a haber instrucción, aprendizaje va a ser de lunes a jueves en el salón de clase en persona, y el viernes va a ser a distancia con el maestro o la maestra que les toca, y lo van a hacer como lo han hecho hasta ahorita. De quinto a 8 al octavo grado, por el número de personas se tuvo que a acomodar para seguir las medidas de seguridad y no va a ser posible más que hacerlo por dos grupos, grupo A y grupo B. Y si se fijan en azul es cuando van a estar, no en azul, sino el grupo A, si lo siguen, va a ser lunes y miércoles en persona y martes y jueves de distancia, aprendizaje a distancia. El grupo B va a ser martes y jueves en persona y lunes y miércoles a distancia y el viernes van a ser todos los alumnos con su maestro en aprendizaje a distancia. Y ahorita les vamos a explicar cómo van a ser el modelo de instrucción.
Before I move on to the instructional models, I do want to share that distance learning instructional minutes will remain the same. There are students who have opted to stay at home via distance learning and will not be returning on campus, but we want to ensure all of our parents that the students will still be receiving the same instructional minutes that they are receiving now. TK through kinder has 180 minutes that will be on their schedule. First through third grade, 230 minutes, and fourth through eighth grade, 240 minutes. This will be accessed via synchronous time, which is the live instruction with a teacher via Zoom, and through asynchronous time, which is independent time where the students are working independently from home.
El número de minutos de aprendizaje, ya sea, bueno, el número total de minutos de aprendizaje por grado es el establecido por el Estado, el Departamento de Educación. Entonces vamos a seguir con esos minutos hasta el final del año porque esa fue la dirección que nos dio el Departamento de Educación. Dependiendo del grado, esos son los números de minutos. Ahora, indicando los números de minutos de instrucción que se debe de dar, no necesariamente, es una combinación entre synchronous, que viene siendo en persona, o con el maestro directamente, o asynchronous, que viene siendo a distancia, o en ellos, el estudiante independientemente con sus programas los diferentes programas académicos que usan por medio de la computadora.
Here we have the two instructional models. There's a hybrid model and there's a blended learning model. As far as our grade levels go, we have given them the opportunity to look at their individual needs in order to be able to decide what model plan they will be utilizing. Each grade level team will be working with the same model. So if there's two teachers in a grade level, they will both be working off of the same model. Hybrid model means that the teacher will have their remote or their distance learning students and their in-person students attending her class at the same time. That means she will be in her class instructing live with her students that are in front of her or him, and they will Zoom in their students who are at home. They will have additional support in the classroom to facilitate this ability, and that is one of the models that some of the grade levels are implementing. The other model is blended learning model. This one means that the teacher will have his or her in-person students at one time, and then the remote or distance learning students at a different time. That means that she will service both groups just on different schedules.
Just to reiterate what Mr. Hernandez said, is very important that we have your comprehension, understanding, and flexibility with these two models, because the teachers have worked really hard on making sure that either or, whatever model happens by grade level, it's supported by the skills that it's needed, and also the amount of students per classroom to be able to do this effectively. So please, give us time. It might change in the future. It might change as we progress. But right now, the way it's set up by grade level has been because there's been an extensive amount of conversation, training, meetings with the principal to ensure that this model is the best one to at least get started on April 12th with their teacher and their grade level. Lo que Ms. Hernández estaba explicando era que hay dos tipos de modelos de aprendizaje que se van a implementar a partir del 12 de abril. Uno de ellos siendo el modelo híbrido, el hybrid model, donde es una combinación en donde el maestro va a estar en persona dando clases a los estudiantes que están en persona y a la misma vez haciendo Zoom con los estudiantes a la misma hora. la razón por la que esa es posible, ese modelo es posible es dependiendo del número de estudiantes y de la manera en que la tecnología puede funcionar en ese grado. Entonces, y el segundo modelo es que le llaman blended, que viene siendo mixto, en donde hay alumnos en persona, pero con el maestro, y el aprendizaje a distancia se va a dar a diferente hora con el maestro también. Pero como les digo, depende del grado, porque depende del número de alumnos y depende de la capacidad que exista, ya sea por el número de alumnos o la tecnología que existe para poder hacer esto posible. Entonces, son muchos factores que influyen en la decisión y en la manera en que se va a dar instrucción. A partir del 12 puede cambiar si las cosas cambian o si la tecnología, la disponibilidad del material y del equipo está ahí para poder hacer esto posible. Entonces, por favor, ténganos poquito paciencia mientras los maestros trabajan con la directora para asegurarse que sea el modelo de aprendizaje más adecuado para ese grado.
So that leads us to student schedules. You might be wondering, what cohort did my child land in? What daily schedule will they be having? How will distance learning look for my child? How will in-person instruction look for my child? This afternoon, we sent out official class lists to our teachers. You shall be receiving information. Some of you might have already received it today. The others will receive it by tomorrow. In that information, the teacher will provide their student daily schedule, which will let you know at what times the students who are at home through distance learning will be participating via Zoom, and which times they will be working asynchronously, which is their independent time, just as they are currently now. For those students that are in cohorts, you will be notified also by the teacher which cohort your child is in. If there are any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me in the office, and we can definitely communicate and see how we can help each other out.
Los horarios y créanme que fue bastante trabajo poder salir con estos horarios y organizar estos horarios de manera que fuera efectiva, no tanto para los maestros, pero también para las familias, porque sabemos que hay hermanos de diferentes niveles, en diferentes grados. Entonces, esos horarios salieron ahora. Algunos de ustedes tal vez ya los recibieron, los van a recibir todos para mañana, pero acaban de salir, acabamos de terminar, porque hay también que considerar las rutas, etcétera. Y Ms. Hernández va a entrar más a detalle en unos momentos, pero todos estos horarios, como les digo, son el principio de la reapertura, y hasta ahorita es lo que hemos visto que es la mejor manera de dar la instrucción en tanto ya sea a distancia como en persona. Entonces, como les digo, les agradecemos su paciencia mientras vamos implementando estos horarios.
I do want to add one more thing here. Just a reminder that parents who have students in TK through third grade only, if your child is going to return in person, tomorrow from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we will be having a material drop-off time. So we ask that you load up their backpacks with their Chromebooks, their chargers, and their instructional materials, and drive by the school and drop those off. Just a quick reminder.
There is a question that maybe we can address right now, that it says if fourth grade is going to go Monday to Thursday, why aren't they dropping off materials?
Good question. So we had not included fourth grade in that conversation because originally they were going to go cohort. So let me clarify that with the teachers, and we'll send out a message to our fourth grade parents. Moving on to classroom.
No, perdón, Ms. Hernández me habló sobre un recordatorio para los padres de TK a cuarto. Mañana va a haber va a haber el horario para que los maestros, para que los papás vengan a dejar sus materiales, ya que van a empezar el lunes en persona. Entonces, las familias que han escogido estar en persona, aprendizaje en persona, por favor, mañana es un recordatorio del TK a cuarto, que entreguen, que vayan a entregar los materiales y sus computadoras para que las tengan todas listas a partir del 12 de abril.
Thank you. Moving on to classroom setup and materials, I have two pictures here on the presentation screen that shows you how we have some of our classroom set up. The first classroom is a junior high classroom. You can see the plexiglass surrounds the table. You can see that there's distancing between chairs. And then on the other side, you see a lower grade classroom. Again, the tables facing each other, but from where a child sits on each side, there is a 4 feet distance, as well as the plexiglass surrounding the desk. In addition to that, students will not be sharing any materials. Teachers have received a pencil box for each of their students, a good sized one, where they can have any of the possible materials that they will need, crayons, scissors, pencils, etc., so that they do not have to share those materials, in addition to the teacher having additional materials on hand to provide as needed. All students will be expected to wear their masks daily, expected to social distance, and teachers within their classrooms have disinfecting wipes, hand sanitizer, and so forth. So they have the capacity to be disinfecting areas as the day proceeds.
Ay, estaba contestando la pregunta. Si se fijan, aquí es una foto nada más para enseñarles cómo cómo se están organizando los salones, cómo los estamos organizando de tal manera que haya sana distancia, que haya distanciamiento entre los alumnos, entre todo el salón y cómo van a estar acomodados dependiendo del grado. Y se van a hacer, como le digo, con las medidas de seguridad. El plan que tenemos que entregar al Departamento de Salud y también al Departamento de Educación va a estar en la página de internet a partir de mañana, a final del día para mañana va a estar en la página de internet, donde se van a enseñar todos los procedimientos y procesos y sistemas que tenemos de acuerdo con las medidas de seguridad que nos lo indica el Departamento de Salud.
A lot of questions on recess. Will students be having recess? Yes, students will be participating in recess time. Students will have recess at an assigned time. There will only be one grade level per recess area at one time. Students will be required to wear their mask. Students will be required to social distance, and students will receive hand sanitizer before they exit the classroom and when they come back in from recess. In addition to that, we're going to have lots of support staff on hand to ensure that students are following these guidances and providing the supervision necessary in order to keep safe distancing and safe guidelines in practice.
Ha habido varias preguntas en cuanto al receso. Basándonos en los minutos que van a estar en aprendizaje en persona, se han puesto los minutos de receso que van de acuerdo a los minutos que tienen de aprendizaje y van a ser alternados y distanciados entre diferentes grados y diferentes áreas de la escuela para que haya suficiente supervisión y suficiente tiempo para que ellos estiren y se relajen un rato, pero siempre con todo siguiendo las medidas de seguridad, que es lo que tenemos que tener desde el momento en que entran a la escuela, que es su cubrebocas, que se desinfecten las manos antes y después de salir a receso. Entonces, todo eso va a ser parte de los procedimientos que se van a tener en cada salón. Adicionalmente, cada salón tiene sus materiales y sus equipo para tener desinfectantes, para tener todo lo que se tiene que tener para poder desinfectar el salón y los alumnos en el salón de clase.
Arrival information, very different that our arrival procedures are going to look. We are beginning our car line at 8 a.m. We are asking parents not to park or walk onto the campus to bring in their students. All students will be receiving a temperature check when they get off of their vehicle or when they load the bus, and students will be directed to their grade level assigned areas. I do want to reiterate that the car line does begin at 8 a.m. Please do not begin to bring your students any earlier than that. It's essential that we have the correct staff ready to take on students as the day begins. In addition to that, we are asking that if you have a 4th through 8th grader that doesn't start their day till 8:30, to please not begin to bring them by until 8:15, unless of course you have younger children that you need to drop off earlier. Of course, your elders can stay, we're ready for them. But if you do not have siblings in the lower grades, please do not drop off 4th through 8th graders until 8:15. This will really help alleviate our car line traffic, and it'll really help us facilitate a quicker process of unloading those students that begin their day at 8:20.
Aquí es donde yo entiendo que va a haber un poquito de dificultad, pero les pedimos su comprensión porque es muy importante que tengamos diferentes horarios para la llegada, así como todos ustedes saben cómo se puede juntar el tráfico. Entonces tenemos que aliviar ese tráfico y mantener las medidas de seguridad posibles, tanto con los que llegan temprano, con los que llegan un poquito más tarde y los camiones también de la escuela, los autobuses de la escuela. Entonces es muy importante que sepan que si entran a las 8:20 creo es el primer horario, y a las 8:30. Entendemos que si son hermanos, pueden llegar. Yo sé que no hay hermanos en todos los grados, pero sí es importante que sepan que si son hermanos y ya sean recogidos a la misma hora por el camión o traídos por sus por propios vehículos de la familia, eso ya está previsto, pero es muy importante que por favor no vengan todos al mismo horario a las 8, porque sí va a ser muy difícil mantener el tráfico. Y de hecho, sheriffs, ya les informamos a sheriffs para que estén ahí la primera semana y nos ayuden con el tráfico, porque yo sé que es muy importante la seguridad de todos, pero también es muy importante que nos den la habilidad de poder checar temperaturas, hacer todo lo que se tiene que hacer para que los estudiantes entren y sean verificados y entren sanamente a la escuela.
Just wanted to show you a quick glimpse of our arrival map and what that's going to look like. Our main gate entrance, which is the gate entrance that students normally come through, is now officially tagged main gate. Our TK through 5th grade students will be utilizing that entrance. On the north side of our main office, we have our north gate entrance where all of our 6th through 8th grade students will be making their entrance. As you enter the car line, we will have sufficient amount of staff who will be unloading students from their car, doing temperature checks, and crossing them across our parking lot and directing them to the correct gate. Once they're in the gate, TK through 5th, as they enter the main gate, kinder will wrap around to get into their kinder playground area. 1st through 5th grade will go all the way back to the basketball courts where they will find their teacher's name and where they'll know where to line up. We have 6th through 8th grade coming in through the north grade, and they will line up right outside their classroom. You might think that's going to be a lot of students, but keep in mind that 5th through 8th grade are coming in cohorts, so those lines will be very small. I do also want to share the actual map of the sites where the students are going to be going to their designated areas. As you see, the basketball courts have a tag for their grade level and the first initial of their teacher, so they'll know exactly where they're going to be lining up. The kinder play area will also have areas where students will be lining up as they arrive, and then 6th through 8th grade will be between wing 1 and wing 2.
Las áreas van a ser asignadas para los estudiantes dependiendo del salón en donde están. Va a ser muy importante, como les digo, que cuando vayan llegando, que vayan, vamos a ir asignando a los estudiantes a un adulto que se va a encargar de formarlos. Si se fijan en esta foto, nada más es un diseño de lo que están esperando. Si se fijan, el nombre es el grado con el apellido del maestro, y van a empezar a formarse. Por eso es que no pueden llegar antes de las 8. No va a haber tiempo para que estén jugando, no se les va a permitir estar jugando antes de la escuela. Es nada más llegar a que los chequen temperaturas, hagan el screening, y de ahí se vayan con el adulto asignado para que estén formados, para que cuando suene la campana, los maestros vayan por ellos y los lleven a su salón. Si se fijan en kinder, ahí también va a ser el área de kinder, el área de 6º al 8 también va a ser separado, pero en el área de la cancha de básquet, ahí es donde van a tener de 1º a 5º y van a estar asignados, y todo lo que es el piso de toda la escuela va a estar marcada para su distanciamiento, para que sepan en dónde se deben de formar y qué distancia tienen que mantener. Entonces por eso es que cuando dicen all hands on deck, cuando dicen todas las manos en ayudar, es porque de veras vamos a estar, todos los adultos vamos a estar encargados de supervisar y asegurarnos de que tengan todos que sigan todas las medidas de seguridad.
And this is also where the parents have their hands on deck, because we really need you to really work with us in abiding by the timelines that we're setting, because it's really going to help us facilitate a safer environment. Moving on to dismissal information, you're going to notice information on 2 dismissal modes. We have car line dismissal and bus line dismissal. Right here, we are going over what car line is going to be looking like. At dismissal time, teachers will walk their students to the main gate if they are in TK through 3rd grade at 11:35, and then 4th through 7th grade to the main gate at 12:40, and 8th grade will remain at the north gate also at 12:40. Students will be supervised by support staff, and students will be in lines assigned by teacher name. Again, just like we identified lines in the basketball court where we're going to be housing students as they arrive, we're going to have areas in the front of the school that will be identified by teacher so that students know exactly what line they need to be in, and that we have supervisors there to ensure that they're keeping their distance, maintaining their masks, and loading the car line as quickly as we can. Again, we're asking that parents do not park or walk onto the campus, as you will be driving through our car line. The dismissal car line will be at a different location. As you come in the morning, the car line will be right up against our fence when you come in. But after school, our dismissal car line will come all the way up to the front of the main entrance of the school. That would allow us to really have a lot of support staff available, calling students' name, getting them to onto your car quickly, and being effective in moving the car line quickly.
Aquí es muy importante que los padres entiendan también, número uno, que tengan paciencia mientras estamos organizando y vemos cualquier detalle que pueda sobresalir. Pero es muy importante que sepan que va a haber áreas designadas para recoger a sus alumnos dependiendo del grado donde estén. Ya no es nada más la primera salida o todas las salidas por la salida principal. Va a haber salidas por a un lado de la cafetería, por la salida principal, y una por el lado donde están los grados más altos, para que también, para ser separados. Entiendan que en esta situación en la que estamos todavía es muy importante que sigamos esas medidas de seguridad donde haya menos tráfico, menos número de personas y que no estén congregadas, que sean muchas en un grupo. Entonces, todo eso se está tomando de acuerdo a como les digo, las medidas de seguridad, y es muy importante que las sigamos y las respetamos a como debe de ser para poder seguir adelante con esta reapertura lo más sanamente que se pueda.
So that was the car line.
Muy importante, no sé si lo dijo Ms. Hernández, pero es muy importante que los padres sepan que les estamos pidiendo, por favor, que no se bajen del carro, que tengan paciencia y que se esperen a que nosotros les llevemos a sus alumnos. Les prometemos que vamos a hacer lo más posible para que los estudiantes estén esperándolos ahí y lleguen y derechitos se suban ya sea al carro o a su autobús designado, que Ms. Hernández va a entrar en más detalles.
So previously was the car line, now the bus line. Dismissal information for our bus line students. Bus line students will be picked up from their classroom from a supervision staff and be taken to their bus lines. We currently have designated areas where students will be lining up based on their bus color, notifying that based on their route, they will have a tag identifying them as to what line they should be in. Bus tags will be provided for all TK through 3rd grade students, and they will need to wear them daily. We have already pre-made those, made several copies of them, as we know sometimes we forget to return them back to school, but this is another instance where we need all hands on deck. We really need parents to be making sure that their child is bringing back that bus tag daily. It will be on a lanyard type, so they will be able to wear it around their neck, and they can also place it in their backpacks as they return to school. Bus cards will be provided for 4th through 8th graders. These bus cards, we're asking them to place on the outside pocket of their backpack on the first week of school. Why? Because it's going to allow them the opportunity to learn our color code system for the bus lines, and also for our support staff who is at the bus lines to be able to identify which students go to what line. Maybe after about a week, we'll all be able to kind of gear ourselves as to who to expect in which line, knowing that 4th through 8th graders have the capacity to get into the correct line. So again, we're asking that you work with us as we implement our new bus procedures and as we move forward with reopening.
El procedimiento para los camiones, y van a ver una foto de cómo le vamos a hacer con los autobuses para cuando ya sea que tengan que de partir de la escuela, Va a ser muy importante que los alumnos se mantengan identificados por medio de unas tarjetas, porque las rutas van a ser asignadas por colores. Entonces se les va a dar, sobre todo a los niños del chique y a tercero, una tarjeta que los va a identificar en qué ruta van, en qué camión van. Va a ser muy diferente a lo que hacíamos antes, porque es muy importante, como les digo, separar el tráfico de los automóviles privados que van a recoger y de los autobuses que van a repartir a los estudiantes. Entonces, la primera semana es muy importante que mantengan su tarjeta, que esté identificada con su mochila, y así ya podemos organizarlos de manera como debe de ser, para que puedan abordar sus autobuses que les corresponden en su ruta para sus casas.
Just want to also touch on that. 4th through 8th grades only expected to hold on to those for the first week, but take TK through 3rd will be utilizing those bus tags for the remainder of the school year.
Sí, de cuarto al 8 es la primera semana, son más grandes y ya más o menos saben, pero sí los estudiantes de chique a tercero es muy importante que mantengan esa tarjeta. Por el resto, son 7 semanas más o menos después del 12 de abril, pero sí es muy importante que las tengan por el resto del año, y en un momentito les vamos a explicar por qué.
Here's a picture of our bus line area. As you can see, we have bus 1 that's identified by a yellow card. If your child is carrying a yellow card, you know he belongs to bus 1. Bus 2 is blue, bus 3 is red, and bus 4 is green. This is the area where our supervision staff will come and line up our students based on their route color. And then each of the bus drivers will have an instructional aide with them who will come and pick up their line of students and load them onto the bus.
Esta gráfica les enseña cómo van a estar los alumnos formados. Ahí nada más es una foto, pero va a estar marcada y se les va a explicar las rutas a los padres de familia. Van a estar en la página de internet también, pero va a ser muy importante que estas líneas, estas van a ser las filas donde se van a formar los estudiantes para abordar el autobús por esta salida, para que no tengan que causar más congregación en la entrada principal, y podamos separar los que van hacia los camiones y los que se quedan para ser recogidos.
More information on bus transportation. This information is very important. We need to be sending out bus schedules to all of our students who will be riding the bus. I want to say thank you to all of our parents who were able to transfer out of the bus transportation into Carline. We have really worked really hard in creating a good plan for our bus transportation. However, due to guidelines, there isn't very many students we can load onto a bus at one time. So I thank all of those parents who have really helped us out in this area. For those students that are riding the bus, we ask that they arrive at their bus stop at least 5 minutes early. We also want to remind TK, kinder, and first grade parents that a parent or guardian must be at the bus stop for pickup and drop off every day with their child. If a parent or guardian is not at a bus stop, students will be taken back to school. If you need somebody else to be picking up your child on a certain day, you need to make sure that that individual's name is on your child's emergency card, or else the child will not be released to them and they will also be returned back to school. Here's the big push that we're doing. You need to make sure that your child only is at the scheduled bus stop that he or she belongs to and is loading the bus at the assigned time that he or she has been given. Why? Because we have accounted for every child and every seat so that we can social distance students on the bus. If you go to a different bus stop, your child is not accounted for. If you show up at a different time, your child is not accounted for. So we are really we really need your help in this area to make sure you follow pickup schedule times and locations due to all the COVID-19 social distance guidelines.
Aquí es muy importante que los papás, por favor, nos ayuden para seguir el horario como debe de ser. No hay manera de ser flexibles en este aspecto, porque más que nada, aparte de que no tenemos el suficiente staff para manejar autobuses, no tenemos el suficiente espacio para poder respetar las medidas de seguridad y a la vez tener el número de alumnos que se necesitan tener por ruta. Entonces, es muy importante que sigan el horario y la ruta que les corresponde, depende de su dirección, porque si no, no se puede porque ya hicimos el mapa de cada camión, cada ruta, como debe de ser. Había una pregunta que creo que es importante que la conteste ahorita porque se trata sobre los camiones y es en cuanto a si son hermanos. Las medidas de seguridad del Departamento de Salud es muy importante que lo entiendan, que si son de la misma familia, de la misma casa, son hermanos y viven en la misma casa, pueden sentarse juntos en el camión. Eso nos ayuda bastante porque entonces pueden haber dos personas en ese asiento. Si no, tenemos que brincarnos un asiento, tenemos que tener ciertas marcadores para que no se sienten. Entonces, nuestro Reyes, el encargado de transporte y mantenimiento, ha sido bastante extenso el trabajo que se ha hecho para poder hacer las listas con las rutas que deben de ser. Muy importante que si su alumno está en TK, Kinder o primero, que un adulto esté con ellos. Si no es el papá o la mamá o el guardián, el tutor que está asignado para ese estudiante, es muy importante que chequen con la oficina y que esté marcado en la oficina, que esté registrada la persona que los va a recoger o los va a entregar en la mañana o en la tarde, porque si no están en el registro de la escuela, si no están en el sistema de la escuela, no van a poder ser entregados. Y yo sé que va a ser algo muy incómodo y desgraciadamente estamos preparados, pero no podemos seguir, tenemos que seguir estas medidas de seguridad por el bienestar del alumno y porque tenemos que seguir ese está nuestro plan y ese es parte del plan que nos pueden aprobar para poder reabrir la escuela. Entonces es muy importante que por favor sigan estas reglas. No va a haber flexibilidad en cuanto a transporte. Aquí sí va a ser muy difícil y se les agradece de antemano porque yo sé que las encargadas en la oficina han estado llamando y varias familias han dado nos han hecho el favor de dar hacer ese esfuerzo de que si ustedes pueden llevarlos a la escuela, los están llevando para darle ese lugar a alguien que de veras necesite el transporte. Entonces, de antemano les damos muchas gracias. Les prometemos que en cuanto encontremos ya tengamos a alguien más en la lista para que esté certificado para manejar el camión, lo vamos a traer a hacer otra ruta, entonces ya podemos poner más alumnos en una ruta. Pero sí, les agradecemos de antemano su cooperación y sí les pedimos con mucho respeto que por favor sigan estas medidas para que nos ayuden a nosotros en la escuela también.
Daily health screenings. What's that going to look like? At home, we are asking that every single morning you ask yourself this question: does my child have COVID-19 symptoms? Is my child showing a dry cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, chills, fatigue, body aches, headaches, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, etc.? Does my child have any COVID-19 symptoms? If the answer is no, move on to the next one. Do a temperature check. Does my child have a fever? If the answer is no, then ask yourself, has my child been exposed to COVID-19 in the last 14 days? If the answer is to no to all of these three questions, go ahead and send your child to school. We really need all hands on deck. If your child is sick, please do not send them to school. We need to maintain safety guidelines and make sure that we keep everybody safe.
Sorry, I was on mute. En cuanto a lo que es el estar checando la salud y cómo se encuentran los estudiantes, es muy importante que por favor nos ayuden de que si tienen síntomas de gripa, aun cuando sean de gripa, por favor, no los manden a la escuela, porque no sabemos la exposición que puede haber, cuánto contacto puede haber y va a ser muy importante que por favor sigan las medidas de seguridad y chequen a su estudiante. Si tienen alguna duda, si llamen a la escuela antes de mandarlos, porque sí, tenemos nosotros y va a explicarme Hernández más adelante, pero tenemos la manera de checar a los estudiantes en cuanto lleguen a la escuela y si cuando llegan a la escuela ya están demostrando síntomas, vamos inmediatamente a hablarles a los padres, a los encargados del estudiante que estén en nuestro sistema para que vayan y los recojan. Entonces no queremos hacer ese paso extra que los va a hacer también perder más tiempo a ustedes, perder más tiempo a la oficina y que no ayude a mantener esa seguridad en la escuela. Entonces, por favor, si demuestran cualquier síntoma de COVID, cualquier síntoma de que sea parecido a una flu, a una gripa, por favor, manténganlos en casa y ya nos dirigiremos con ustedes individualmente si pueden hacer el trabajo en casa y se les cuenta como asistencia y no se les cuenta como falta.
Daily health screenings at school, what is that going to look like? Well, let's just start with must wear mask. If a child gets on a bus or loads off at the car line, first thing we are looking for is making sure that the child has a mask. We will do a temperature check upon arrival. As they load the bus, their temperature will be checked. As they exit their vehicles, their temperature will be checked. If a child is sick while at school, we will call home and we ask that you pick up your child promptly. If a child has COVID, we will definitely go on into contact tracing and require quarantine for those that were affected. Do know that we do have a health office now on campus. In the past, if a child wasn't feeling well or they got a little paper cut, they would go up to the front office and we would take care of it or give them some ice if they got a little bang. But currently, we now have a health office in its own designated area, so it doesn't have traffic from other individuals. Teachers have received a checklist that allows them to identify things that they can treat in their classroom, as they've all been set up with first aid kits in their classroom. And if it's something that they can take care of, they will handle in the classroom. If a child needs medication that's given to them by our health nurse or health clerk, that will also be taken care of in the front office. But if we have a child that's exhibiting symptoms in the classroom, we're asking the teachers to contact the health clerk, where we will do some screening questions. If the child is demonstrating symptoms of possible COVID, we are sending them to the health office, where we will take a temperature check and then ask some more leading questions in order to determine what steps need to be taken. If a child is not well, we will call you, like I mentioned before, and we really do ask that you come as quickly as possible to really help us. And then, of course, any child that visits the health office, disinfecting will happen right immediately after they leave.
And just to follow up on what Ms. Hernandez was saying, part of it is there is a lot of reporting that I have to do on a weekly basis to the CDE website, which is the Department of Ed, as well as the public health. So it's a lot of documentation that needs to happen, that we need to keep on check, which is attendance, which is the screening, how effective has it been, and how many students have been attending campus and have been reported. And if the situation happens where there is a positive case, there's just a lot of paperwork and a lot of contact tracing that I have to conduct. And it's very important that you help us in saving us all that work by just keeping your child at home until they're 100% safe or healthy to come back. Les explicaba que Ms. Hernández, que nosotros por parte de las medidas de seguridad y parte del requerimiento del Departamento de Salud es que tengamos una oficina asignada para staff y para estudiantes que demuestren síntomas o que se sientan enfermos durante el día. Vamos a ver que un estudiante llegó bien, está en clase y empieza a sentirse mal, entonces va a ser asignado a esta oficina. Ya no se pueden ir a la oficina de enfrente, no se pueden ir a la oficina principal. Tiene que ser una oficina designada para estudiantes que se sientan enfermos o que tengan algún síntoma que hayan sentido durante el día y no inicialmente. Es muy importante que nos ayuden, por eso les decía antes que si no están seguros de que el niño o la niña o el estudiante esté bien, que no los manden a la escuela, que nos ayuden con eso, porque nosotros tenemos que reportar cada semana, cada viernes antes de las 5 de la tarde, se tiene que reportar a un sistema en donde está el Departamento de Educación y el Departamento de Salud conectados, en donde reportamos cuántos empleados, cuántos estudiantes han estado presentes en la escuela, cuántos han demostrado algún síntoma y cuántos han salido, por ejemplo, positivos. En el caso de que haya un caso positivo, yo tengo la responsabilidad por ley de tener que hacer un chequeo y checar más bien rastrear, por falta de otra mejor palabra, rastrear lo que es en qué punto y con quién personas hubo contacto del estudiante o del staff. y después darle a conocer a los padres que están involucrados, a las familias involucradas en cuanto a algún caso. Entonces, nos ayudan bastante en reducir la manera de reportar o el papeleo que se tiene que hacer y mantener la escuela sana y saludable durante las últimas 7 semanas que quedan de este año.
Safety precautions we just wanted to share. We are constantly disinfecting surfaces. All restrooms are being sanitized once every 1 to 2 hours. All heavy traffic areas as well being disinfected and sanitized. Teachers have all of the PPE equipment needed in order to disinfect their areas as needed. And at the end of the day, all classrooms are being disinfected and cleaned by our custodial staff, who has been very well trained on how to be the most effective. We are also making sure that students are constantly washing their hands as needed. We are making sure they're wearing their face masks. We do have additional face masks in each classrooms because we know that sometimes our face masks can break off or something can happen. We just need a replacement. So teachers do have those in the classroom as needed. We do ask that you send your child to school with a face mask. We also have space social distancing markers throughout the school. It will be an item discussed within the classroom, and outside of the classrooms, we will have stickers right outside on the sidewalk that has 4 feet of distance between students, so they know exactly where to line up, line markers. We are really making sure that we're taking all of these precautions every single day at every single time, and we're all very aware of what needs to be occurring to make sure that everyone is in a safe environment.
Es muy importante que sepan que las precauciones y las medidas que se están tomando en cada edificio, en cada lugar de la escuela y cada salón, cada oficina, es seguir las medidas de seguridad que nos está dando el Departamento de Salud. Entonces, en cuanto a, va a haber bastantes pósters, bastantes indicaciones, bastantes áreas donde se les va a dar tanto como para limpiar las manos, todo lo que indica el Departamento de Salud que tenemos que tener en cada salón y en cada oficina, en cada lugar, se les va a dar a los maestros, se les va a dar a los estudiantes. Va a haber bastantes áreas en donde va a haber sensores donde pueden usar para sanitarse las manos. Y todo eso se tiene que hacer y se tiene que dar. Va a haber horarios en donde tienen que limpiar baños, tienen que limpiar salones. Todo eso lo hemos tratado como equipo con con Mr. Reyes, el encargado de mantenimiento, y con los custodios para asegurarnos de que existan esos horarios y que se respete también el aprendizaje y no interrumpir a los maestros. Entonces los maestros también van a poner de su parte para asegurarse que todas las áreas estén limpias y que los estudiantes sigan las indicaciones de tanto de sana distancia como el de estarse limpiando las manos, lavando las manos y usando sanitizer en manera regular.
As we move on to discuss our grab and go meals, Mrs. Diaz is going to do this presentation. I just want to do a little side note. Each teacher will be provided with snacks in their classroom. So we will have an opportunity to provide snacks to our students throughout the day. All yours, Mrs. Diaz.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
We cannot hear you. The audio is not coming through. No, we cannot hear you.
Maybe your mic is not disconnected. Can you look, I don't know, check your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I don't know what was wrong with it. Hi, good afternoon. I'm just going to talk about the grab and go changes starting April 12th This is for distance learners that are not coming into school and community children that we provide free lunches for. We're gonna start to do Monday meal distributions from 7 to 10 at Meadows School. We're no longer doing it at our bus stops. We are gonna provide 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches for all students at one time. These are only for students that are not coming into campus. We are asking parents to please register online so we can provide a meal card for them because they will need to show that on Mondays for the meal pickups. Buenas tardes, nomás les quería dar la información sobre los cambios de la distribución de comida. Vamos a empezar el 12 de abril a nomás dar comida los lunes de 7 a 10 en Escuela Meadows. Ya no vamos a dar comida en las paradas de camiones en KOA o en Palm Villa. Solamente va a ser en Escuela Meadows para los estudiantes que no vayan a la escuela y los niños de 1 año a 18 años que le estamos dando comida gratis. Estamos despidiendo a los papás que por favor se registren en línea. Si van a la página de internet de Meadows, hay una donde dice Child Nutrition. Ahí va a estar una flyer que te da la información con el link para que se registren con su información e información del estudiante. Nosotros le vamos a proveer una tarjeta con el nombre del estudiante, una tarjeta para recibir los alimentos los lunes, nomás de 7 a 10. Esos nomás son para los niños que no van a venir a la escuela. Ellos van a recibir 5 desayunos y 5 comidas. Así nomás tienen que venir una vez a la semana. Cuando vengan los lunes a recoger las comidas, por favor, les pedimos que usen su cubrebocas, que no se bajen del vehículo. Van a pasar por el car line donde van a dejar a los estudiantes. Los niños no necesitan estar presentes, pero nomás podemos dar un máximo de 4 alimentos por vehículo, al menos de que traiga su tarjeta del estudiante. Yo sé que muchos vecinos o familiares se juntan y piden para más comida, pero necesitamos las tarjetas para poder darle las comidas a ustedes. Nomás un recordatorio que sí es fraude si van con nosotros a pedir comida y van a otros distritos escolares a pedir comida, porque lo están monitoreando el Estado. Es muy importante decirles eso. Cualquier cambio que haya, nosotros vamos a darle información. So when you're picking up meals, we are asking you to please wear your face mask. Do not get off your vehicles. Go through the car line where there's the student drop-off. The students do not need to be present. We will be asking for their meal cards in order to get meals. If you don't have a meal card, we can only provide 4 meals, a maximum of 4 meals per car. And I understand that there's a lot of neighbors or family members that get together and pick up meals so that there's no contact with a lot of people, but we are asking you to please bring your meal cards at the time of service so that way we can provide the meals for you. I just want to remind everybody that it is fraudulent to pick up meals at different school sites. We are reporting the pickups to the state, so it is fraudulent to pick up at different sites. Also, for the students who are coming to school, we will provide, Ms. Hernandez, can you do the next slide? Thank you. We will provide meals every day. This is the schedule that we're on. Kinder through 3rd are going to be provided 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 supper Monday through Friday. 4th graders will be provided 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, 1 supper Monday through Wednesday. And on Thursdays, they are going to be provided 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, and 2 suppers. For 5th through 8th grade, the first cohort that are coming in Mondays and Wednesdays, on Mondays, they're going to be provided 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, and 2 suppers. On Wednesdays, they're going to be provided 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 suppers, so we can do the whole week. For cohort B, on Tuesdays, we will be providing 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 suppers. And on Thursdays, we will be providing 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 suppers. This is for the whole week of meals. For the bus students, we will be providing the meals in the bus stops for them while they get off the bus, because we don't want them to be opening the packages and making giving trash or eating during the ride home. So we will provide, as the student gets off, we will be providing their sack lunches. It is very important that students come in with their breakfast, eating breakfast, because the cafeteria is closed and we are not providing any food for them. So it's very important that the child eats breakfast at home. So that's why we're providing the breakfast for the following day. Nomás para darles el horario para los estudiantes que sí van a venir a la escuela. Para los de kinder a tercero les vamos a dar un desayuno, un almuerzo y una cena para de lunes a viernes. Y a los de cuarto grado, de lunes a miércoles, vamos a dar un desayuno, un almuerzo y una cena. Los jueves les vamos a dar 2 desayunos, dos almuerzos y 2 cenas porque no vienen los viernes a la escuela. A los de quinto al octavo grado tenemos los dos cohorts, que es cohort A, que vienen los lunes y los miércoles. Los lunes les vamos a dar 2 desayunos, 2 lunches y 2 cenas. Y los miércoles van a ser 3 desayunos, 3 lunches y 3 cenas. Para los de cohort B, que vienen los martes y los jueves, le vamos a dar 2 desayunos, los martes 2 desayunos, 2 lunches y 2 cenas. Y los jueves van a ser 3 desayunos, 3 lunches y 3 cenas. Es muy importante que los estudiantes vengan ya desayunados a la escuela porque la cafetería sigue cerrada. No les vamos a dar desayuno antes de clase. Sí les vamos a proveer un snack en el salón, pero es muy mínimo. Y la verdad es mejor que vengan desayunados porque sí he visto niños que llegan y que no desayunan y no ponen atención en la clase y tienen hambre, los pobrecitos. Pero sí, yo sé que los niños están impuestos a desayunar en la escuela, pero como les digo, ahorita la cafetería no está abierta y nomás van a ser go to go. Nomás les quería dar las gracias por el apoyo porque sí hemos estado teniendo muchos familiares viniendo a las paradas de camión y a la escuela por sus comidas y todo este año, la verdad, ha sido, yo sé que es muy difícil para todos, pero les agradezco que vengan y recojan su comida porque sí lo extrañamos mucho a los niños. So I just want to give thanks for the continued support. A lot of families have been picking up meals for this past year at our bus stops and at school. And I just want to thank you. If you have any questions or any hardships of picking up meals, please contact us. You can call the office, or that's my number, my direct number there, or my email, anything, just please let us know. Thank you.
This ends our formal presentation. Thank you so much for participating. We're going to move on to the Q&A. Let me go ahead and stop sharing.
So we do have on the chat a few questions, and so I would like to begin. So can you clarify about 4th grade, please?
Yes, so I did make contact with the 4th grade team while we were in our webinar, and they did say that they do not need students to drop off their materials tomorrow. Students can just bring their backpacks on Monday, just include their Chromebook and their charger.
Sí, no hay necesidad que no va a haber entregar materiales mañana para los de cuarto. Las maestras se van a comunicar con ustedes directamente y todos los maestros están comunicando directamente con por medio de Remind, les están explicando quiénes son los qué materiales se tienen que dar a llevar a la escuela. Pero cuarto, no van a necesitar llevar materiales mañana. What's the next question?
It says Friday is a holiday, so there's no school.
That was me.
This Friday, yes, there is a holiday, but on distance learning Fridays, no, students will still be logging in via Zoom if they are in grades 4th through 8th.
So for 4th graders, Thursday, they will be taking their Chromebook home so they can connect via distance learning on Fridays.
Yes.
So all of that, like I said, the teachers will be very specific because they have their own grade level.
Yes.
Para el viernes sí no hay clases, por eso es que estamos esperando que lleguen los materiales mañana, pero para los estudiantes que van a tener aprendizaje a distancia, es muy importante que sepan que por ejemplo, el cohort que está el jueves o el miércoles, dependiendo sea cohort A o cohort B, se lleven su Chromebook para que trabajen a distancia desde casa, y lo mismo los de cuarto sería de lunes a jueves en la escuela y los jueves se llevarían su Chromebook para que trabajen a distancia el viernes. So for those, so if you have children that are being dismissed at different times, just like they're being dropped off at different times, or I mean, they have different times for starting, there will be a place in an area for those siblings to wait for their turn to line up. And so we will be addressing that on a family by family cases because we know that there are not that many siblings. I know that some of them are. So we are looking at a designated area. So we are prepared for that as well. Sí, dije inglés y español, te voy a dar en español. Si tienen hermanos que son de diferentes grados con diferentes horarios, lo tenemos preparado, no estamos sabemos que puede haber necesidad en cuanto al que los dejen en la mañana o los tengan que recoger o llevar en el camión. Entonces, todo eso está considerado. Por eso es que hubo bastante trabajo para asegurarnos de que estén en el mismo grupo, ya sea para autobús o para, aunque sea diferentes horas de entrada de escuela, se van a asignar a un lugar para que esperen a que sea su hora de entrada.
Pregunta dice, quisiera quedarme con la laptop por cualquier cosa que no pueda llevarla físicamente, que agarre en línea la clase. ¿Se puede? Es muy importante que regrese el niño con su laptop y su charger cuando regrese a la escuela, porque la van a estar usando también durante la escuela. Nada más sí les pedimos que lo manden y los estudiantes cuando la necesiten en casa se la van a estar llevando y regresando. We were asked if students could keep their Chromebook at home just in case for whatever reason they couldn't return to school on Sunday. The answer is we're asking the students bring their Chromebook and their charger back to school. They will be utilizing it in their classroom and they will be taking it home as needed and returning back each time that they do take it home.
In terms of schedules, again, specific schedules are being delivered between today and tomorrow. I'm assuming it's via Remind, right, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, via Remind.
I can't tell you in terms of what times the schedules are going to be because it varies by grade level. So please wait for your teachers to provide you with that information because it's different by grade levels. So si los horarios no podemos darlos ahorita, no los tenemos, los maestros, sí los tenemos, no los podemos poner aquí, pero los maestros van a dar sus horarios a cada estudiante dependiendo del grado porque son diferentes y cambian dependiendo del grado en que esté. Entonces, esperen la información entre ahora y mañana que les van a decir cuál horario va a ser y cómo van a quedar. There's a question on Monday, should I pick up my girls separately or just come at 3? So again, if you have siblings that have a scattered schedule because of their grade span, you don't have to come twice. You can just wait for the latter one. So if you have a TK through 3rd student and they have a sibling that is in an upper grade, we have an assigned area for them to wait until the sibling comes out so that they can be picked up at the same time. So we don't want to cause a hardship on parents in that manner, but also don't cause a hardship on us by, leaving them forever because we don't have enough supervision, enough instructional aides to cover that as well. But we understand that they can be picked up at the latter time because of the upper grades.
Okay. There is a question on here on what should students be bringing back in their backpack. We're asking for the Chromebook, the charger, and any instructional materials that the teacher might have provided. This being for TK through 3rd grade who's doing their material drop-off tomorrow, which would be any workbooks, any packets, anything that the teacher has sent home, you bring back in the backpack and drop it off tomorrow between 12 and 5.
And like I said, remember that in terms of having an adult at the bus stop for transportation is for TK through 1st. Any other grade it's not. And I'm going to say it in Spanish because the question was in Spanish, but I wanted to address it in English. La pregunta era si necesito el transporte de la salida, ¿dónde puedo apoyarlo? Alguien tiene que recibirlo en el domicilio. Si son del 8º grado, los de 4º para arriba, de 3º para arriba, no necesitan que alguien los esté esperando. Ellos pueden salir del camión y caminar hacia sus casas. Los únicos que necesitan apoyo en cuanto a supervisión son los chiquitos del TK a primero. I believe we have an advertisement. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Mr. Sure. Are the students able to play on the playground? Yes, we do have areas, designated areas where our students can play. Definitely, we do have playground equipment. And just know that part of the safety guidelines is as long as our students are washing their hands constantly, and that means when they come out of recess, they have to wash their hands. When they come inside from recess, they have to wash their hands. And as long as they keep their masks on, the designated areas and we have enough instructional aides supervising these recesses, we're gonna continue to allow them to do so. And like, again, just following the measures, the safety guidelines. We are not required to disinfect playground equipment per se on a daily basis, because again, the virus is contacted by people or humans putting their hands into their mouth or their nose. So that's the whole purpose of the face mask, and for them to be washing their hands constantly. So as long as we follow that, we do clean way more than before, and it has helped us maintaining up until now, we haven't had any issues. We do have students currently in place with TK Kinder and first grade students, as well as students with special intervention needs. And so we do have students already on campus, and if as long as they're following the safety guidelines, we are good.
I'm not sure if we answered this question, but it's saying if 8th grade students are doing distance learning, what time will they be having their instruction? Los alumnos de 8 estudiando en línea tomarán a qué horas las clases. Each teacher will be sending that information to you via Remind, in addition to possibly Google Stream. This will allow you to see the students' daily schedule for those that are in distance learning and for those that are coming in on their cohort. So todos los maestros van a estar informando a los padres en el siguiente día sobre el horario de todos los estudiantes que están participando por aprendizaje en casa o los que están viniendo a la escuela. So toda esa información la van a encontrar vía Remind cuando los maestros empiecen a mandar hoy y mañana.
There was a question on the face shield, and I'll say it in English and then I'll say it in Spanish. In terms of face shields, they're given to the lower grades. At this point, we're looking at TK Kinder First, where teachers and students are being provided with a face shield that they have to use for phonemic awareness, anything that has to do with phonetic instruction, so that students and teachers can see the way the mouth works when it comes to fluency and sounds and reading instruction. So the only time that a student can have a face mask and no face mask is for the purpose of practicing, which should not take longer than 15 minutes, which by the safety guidelines, that's within the 6 feet. Everyone is safe as long as they are separated enough and is less than 15 minutes of having that. So having said that, if they want to continue using their face shield, they still have to put their mask on if they're going to be in the classroom. So they can use both, and the only time they can take off the face mask is for instructional purposes. La pregunta era si se podía usar nada más el face shield, que viene siendo el plástico que cubre la cara, en vez de mascarilla o cubrebocas. Y la única manera en que puede ser, el alumno puede tener la cubrecara y no cubrebocas es cuando están en clase y están aprendiendo a hablar, a leer fonéticamente los sonidos que tienen que hacer y así ver a la maestra en cómo se mueven los labios. Aparte de eso, nada más, si ellos quieren seguir con su cubrecara, está bien, pero tienen que seguir con su cubreboca. So, el cubreboca es de que eso no lo pueden quitar a menos que sea para practicar en el salón, y no es usualmente más de 15 minutos. There's another question that says about having a son in kinder and another in 6. Can I send my son that is on kinder only on the days that his brother goes to school, only 2 days? So again, it's really important that we stay with the schedule that is allocated, because it does throw off the whole system in terms of transportation, space, working on campus. The whole purpose of choosing in-person instruction is because you want your student to have that direct instruction in person with the teacher. So it's really important that we maintain that. And unfortunately, the reason why we had to do cohorts for upper grades is because, again, for the safety guidelines, we cannot have the number of students that chose in person all at once. So I can defer this to Ms. Hernandez, but it's very important. Part of the reason and the rationale behind these schedules is to ensure that everybody's getting their maximum academic instruction. And so chopping it off for students that were designed to come in Monday through Friday it's just going to do a disservice. It's not going to help as much as if they were in person.
Yes, and just to add to that, kinder through third grade being here Monday through Friday really is the foundational, it's the foundational grades. And it really is important for students to be here as much, will be on campus as much as possible. Like Mrs. Rodriguez said, the teacher is putting on a lesson plan for the whole week. And the days that your child is not there, they will be missing out. Even if they attended distance learning on those days, both schedules will not be running the same. And there will be some inconsistencies in what he's receiving. It would be highly recommended that he attend Monday through Friday to get the best that he can out of what's being provided for his grade level. You're muted, Mrs. Rodriguez.
Just to reiterate on the face shield, that face shield by itself is not an option. El tener el cubrecara solo nada más para el estudiante no es una opción. Tienen que traer su cubreboca todo el tiempo. Tanto empleados como estudiantes tienen que traer el cubrebocas y sobre todo si están en los grados más altos. La única diferencia es la que, como dije, de TK, Kinder y primero, y creo que hasta segundo está en el plan. Nada más que no lo han requerido, pero tenemos el equipo para proveerlo si es necesario. Entonces, el face shield, lo que es el cubrecara, nada más sin el cubrebocas, no va a ser permitido para los estudiantes ni para los empleados.
Mrs. Rodriguez, you're muted.
Sorry, I believe this is the end of questions. There was an attendee with raising of the hand, Mr. Ceballos, or Mrs. Ceballos. No sé si tenga una pregunta. They were raising the hand since before, but I know we were going through the presentation, so we had to move on. I'm not sure if the question has been addressed on the chat box. And okay, so this is an important question that I like to address that was just asked. If you choose in person and you haven't been in class, or if you have, because I know TK Kinder First has been in class already. If you come back on the 12th and at any point between April 12th and June 9th or 10th, I believe is the last day of school, you decide to go into distance learning model, you just need to talk to the principal, Ms. Hernandez, obviously talk to the teacher also, and submit your request, and that will be approved and assigned, because there needs to be some obviously some paperwork that needs to get done, and that can be addressed. So if you choose in person and then you want to switch to distance learning, that is possible. However, if you choose distance learning as of now, and well, already, and it's going to be really difficult, and we won't be able to accommodate if at any time between April and June you decide to do in person. Because of the numbers, because of the logistics part of it, you have no idea. I cannot express my gratitude to teachers, instructional staff, office staff, cafeteria staff, Ms. Hernandez, and maintenance and operations. Just, it takes a lot of weekends, after hours, just walking the campus, ensuring that everything, every single spot in that school is safe. So our apologies if our apologies if this is not the answer you were looking for, but if you choose in person and you decide to go to distance learning, it's okay. But if you choose distance learning and you want to come into in person, it's going to be very difficult to approve because of the current situation and the numbers and the logistics. So les estaba explicando que si en estos momentos usted escogió aprendizaje a distancia y de aquí a final de año ha sido esa la decisión, entre medio de lo que es entre abril 12 y al final del año, no podemos cambiar al alumno de aprendizaje a distancia a en persona, porque es mucho trabajo, los números, lo que hemos trabajado, el staff que ha trabajado, ha sido mucho lo que se ha planeado para tener los números a cierta límite para que se sigan las medidas de seguridad. Pero, sin embargo, si usted tiene al estudiante en persona y de aquí en abril 12, cuando abran al final del año, decide que por cualquier motivo, circunstancia, lo tienen que regresar a aprendizaje a distancia, va a ser aprobado, nomás es cosa de que hable a la oficina, hable con el maestro y hable con la directora y nada más para llenar los documentos necesarios.
We have a question that says, is there any chance fifth grade will increase on the number of days they attend in person? At this point, no, there is not. The schedules that are being shared out currently will be for the remainder of the school year. Again, it really broke our heart. We really wanted to allow everyone who wanted to come back on campus to be there for the duration of the week. But again, because of the safety guidelines, we have not been able to make that possible. So thank you in advance for all of your patience, for all of your flexibility, and we hope to have a good, successful reopening.
La pregunta se refiere a que si de alguna manera vaya a cambiar el horario de los que están en grupos, en el grupo A y el grupo B, a partir de abril 12 al final del año. Es muy difícil que lleguemos a cambiar ese horario por los números, como les digo, y porque queremos asegurarnos que todo esté con las medidas de seguridad posibles. Entonces va a ser muy difícil que cambie el horario, a menos que tengamos otro salón disponible. Tendríamos que mandar otro cuestionario. Hay mucho trabajo detrás de todo esto, mucho planeamiento que, como les decimos, les damos muchas gracias por su flexibilidad, por su apoyo, por su cooperación, y desgraciadamente por ahorita no van a cambiar los horarios de los diferentes grados. So I think that's it. Like I said, I was just saying in Spanish that we appreciate so much your support, your cooperation, and your patience and flexibility. Please be patient with us because we will be sometimes going crazy. There's going to be a lot of staff on April 12th, making sure that we have a safe reopening. And so we can't emphasize how thankful we are to all the staff, the teachers, the instructional aides, everyone who has been on board, but especially you, families, parents, for your support and your patience and making sure that we have a safe reopening.
Yes, thank you all for everything you're doing. Again, all hands on deck. It's going to take every single one of us to do our best effort to make this a successful return for our students.
Thank you and have a safe day. See you all in the next few days.